We are here in Monterey, California at the Naval Postgraduate School, joined by Sophal Ear, an assistant professor. And Sophal, you're not only a TED Fellow, but you've done some pioneering work on development economics, on infectious diseases, and the national security implications of some of these issues that, quite frankly, a lot of people still, unfortunately, consider to be too soft. But how is it that you have demonstrated that infectious diseases, poverty, and so forth are national security threats? What is that linkage that people need to understand?
Well, I think that one of the driving arguments that I make in my research certainly is that there's a link between, for example, taxation or domestic revenue collection and the ability of countries to develop themselves. When they don't collect enough revenues, they don't have accountability and ownership, and democracy doesn't work when you are actually not taxing your people. So poverty is a result of this, lack of accountability, emerging infectious diseases that don't get checked or can run amok. I would argue is certainly an after effect of this fact.
You were called in a lot to deal with things like avian flu and SARS and so forth a couple of years ago. Is there an emerging health threat on the horizon that has transnational implications that we should be thinking about?
Well, we discovered from Indonesia's experience that viral sovereignty became an argument over whether viruses themselves were intellectual property of countries in which they're found. It's a dangerous argument, but I would argue it's not an unreasonable argument for a country to make because, after all, what's in it for them? Are they going to be able to get a vaccine out of the discovery of a virus in their country, or are they going to be charged hundreds of millions of dollars to save themselves? I would certainly say that the implication of my research on emerging infectious disease surveillance is that culture matters, politics matters, economics matters. It's not just a technical solution where you just get a lab, get some people working, and you'll have sustainability. These countries need help beyond money and technology alone.
Now, Southeast Asia is your primary area of focus, and right now there's a debate about whether or not those countries are going to start to balance against China because China has been overreaching more recently. What's your view from the ground, countries like Vietnam, Cambodia, Malaysia, Thailand, and so on?
I think they're using the one-third threshold that you've presented clearly in your earlier work. They're diversifying the sources of income and therefore diversifying the risk to which any one country or superpower might cause to them if they were to pull out. So Cambodia certainly has been relying on China, but it's also relying on the U.S., certainly in the garment export area. Vietnam is cognizant of this fact as well. I think everybody understands that the more diverse they are in terms of the sources of where their revenues come from, the less at risk they will be in the future when a problem in their relationship with one patron happens.
Sophal Ear, thanks so much for joining us at foreignpolicy.com.
Thank you.